The power of silence. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I am a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm going to be talking about the power of silence. So before we get into this video, if you haven't done so already, then please leave a like on it and please do subscribe. If you have any questions for me or if you have anything you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then please do leave them down in the comments section. Or if you have any tips yourself, then please also leave those down in the comments so we can help each other out. So firstly, let's get into why silence can be really, really powerful. Now obviously it can be powerful in a number of different ways. It doesn't just have to be in romantic relationships that you have or have had. It could be with business relationships. It could be relationships that you have with your friends or your family. Sometimes silence can be very, very powerful. And the reason why it's powerful is because it gives the other person time and space to think about the relationship themselves, to ponder and think about you, and to see if they want to still be in your life. Or if it's like a business proposition, then it would be giving that person time and space to think about the offer or something like that. And by being silent and not hounding them all the time, it gives them time to actually think about it and to breathe. So this is what you kind of hear of in like the romantic dating world of like no contact, which is basically when either you've split up with an ex and you're trying to get them back, so you've gone into a period of no contact in order to try and re-attract them, in order to get them to miss you. Or you might go into no contact with someone you messed things up with, who you were interested in, who you want to think of you in a different way, basically. So giving them that time and space. So why can silence be so hard for some? And this is something that I have seen. I've seen people who come to me for advice saying that, oh, I sent this girl or guy a message. They didn't respond to me, so I sent them a message the next day. Basically, these people who are just really trying to rush things along, and they're not giving that person that time and space they need to, let's say, even respond. Because someone who you're interested in, they may not have the level of investment yet to actually care that much about responding to you. And basically what I mean by that is when you start dating someone and you two don't know each other very well, then there's not that level of investment. So they don't really need to reply to you straight away. So if you don't give them the time to reply to them by replying a couple of hours later or replying the next day, like if you keep on hounding them with messages and not giving them the space and chance to reply, then you're just going to make that person not want to be around you because you're being too pushy. Let's say you send a message to a girl that you like and you say something like, oh, when are you free to hang out? When are you available? You have to give that person time to respond. And the reason why silence is powerful, and by not following up with that basically, is because it will show you whether or not if they're interested. So if they're not interested in you, they will probably take a long time to reply. And when they do reply, they may even give an excuse, or they may not even reply to you at all. But someone who is interested in you will get back to you. They will respond eventually, and they will also give you the times when they are available to see you. But if you send them a message saying, when are you available? And then a few hours later, you say something else, or the next day you say something else, or even the next week you say something else, you haven't given that time. And being able to refrain yourself from over messaging, over pursuing, and staying in no contact shows that you have self-respect, and it shows that you have strength, because the people that don't have the inner strength, the emotional self-control, shall we say, will keep on hounding their crush or their ex to try and get them back, or to try and get to be with them, to be in a relationship with them. Those are the people that are very insecure and don't show off that strength. But obviously, if you want someone to be attracted to you, you have to display strength, because neediness is very rarely attractive to someone. The only type of people who would want someone to be needy is someone who's perhaps like really, really codependent and they want someone who is needy. But obviously that kind of person is emotionally insecure themselves, and obviously you want to be with someone who is emotionally healthy. So the best way you can display that emotional healthiness is by not over pursuing, is by allowing there to be breaks of silence between messages, especially when you ask them a question. Look, you really need to give them time to respond to you. It doesn't matter if they respond to you within 24 hours, or they might even respond to you next week or next month or next year. But if you ask someone a question and they don't respond to you ever, you can't keep on sending them more and more messages in order to try and get a reaction out of them, in order to get a reply from them. You have to have this inner strength. And we've all come across people, like personally in my personal life, that I've seen people who are very needy. Like I've had people who, like me, who have become very needy. And I used to be very needy myself, so I completely understand the frame of mind that people can get into, where you feel like you need to do something in order to get this person to like you. And the reason why I actually found out that my own neediness was unattractive was when someone was being needy towards me, and I was like, wow, this person kept on sending me messages, basically wouldn't leave me alone, basically wanted to know what I was up to all the time, wanted to know who I was being with, wanted to know when we would meet up again, all these kinds of things, hounding me all the time with that kind of thing. And it made me realize that my past behavior when I did stuff like that to someone else was really, really inappropriate. So it really opened up my eyes, having someone needy towards me, of how bad and how unattractive it is. Even if it's with someone that you did initially find attractive, think, oh yeah, this person's really cool, I really like them, and then all of a sudden they start to become very, very needy and attached, and it kind of makes you go, whoa, and then it makes you lose that attraction for them because you see this emotional unsteadiness, basically. So if you don't do that, if you're not needy, if you remain unattached, especially in those first early stages of getting an ex back, or when you first start dating someone new, it shows that display of strength. And that is what will attract them to you. The fact that you are emotionally in control of yourself. Because no one wants to be with someone who is emotionally out of control, unless, like what I said before, it's someone who needs to be needed, and is someone who needs to be codependent, and or even someone who's a narcissist who feels like they can feed into that person and manipulate them in some way. So it shows that you have strength if you can refrain yourself from breaking that silence. And also, a great thing about silence is it weeds out the insecure. So one of the things that I would do when I was in the dating world was, when I was still trying to find someone to settle down with, was I would wait about a week, about 5 days before I contacted the person who I'd just previously gone out on a date with. So let's say I would go out on a date on Saturday. I wouldn't send another message to them or get in contact with them unless they contacted me first, about 5 days later. And what would happen in that 5 days was really interesting. Either I wouldn't get a response from them, or they wouldn't message me in between that time, or one occasion someone actually blocked me because I didn't talk to them in that space of time, even though they didn't initiate any contact with me. So that was kind of interesting. It kind of weeds out the insecure. Luckily for me, when I first started dating my now wife, I waited 5 days to send her another message about asking her out and arranging another date with her, and she agreed to it. Whereas the previous dates I'd had in around that similar time frame, those people either got mad at me for not for not initiating contact sooner, or they would block me, or do all these very insecure things. So it weeds out the people who are emotionally insecure. And because my wife is emotionally secure, especially when it comes to relationships, she didn't have any problem at all with me not talking to her for about 5 days before saying something else. So by having that silence, it will reveal to you who the people who are emotionally secure is. Because someone who's emotionally secure won't be too bothered by the fact that you haven't initiated contact with them in about a week, especially if there's someone you've only spent a couple of hours with on a date and this is the only time you've spent with them. It makes sense to a person who is emotionally secure that this person shouldn't always be in my DMs trying to get a hold of me, because we don't really know each other well enough yet. So the emotionally insecure people will get mad at you for not talking to them. They'll get upset with you, or they may even block you, like what someone did with me. Now, obviously, in these kinds of circumstances, the silence might be enough for them to initiate contact with you, which is great. You know, that's a great way to tell if someone is really, really super interested in you, if they can't help but break that silence themselves. So that's also good, because they might really want to see you again. So obviously, if you do what I did and wait 5 days before asking someone out on another date, and they initiate contact with you in between that time, then obviously that's okay to then talk to them and, you know, perhaps arrange another date as well in that conversation. The power of silence, and silence really does reveal all to you. It reveals so much. If you would like to get in touch with me personally and you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com/shop, and I shall talk to you guys again very soon. Goodbye, guys.